So hello and welcome to another Valorant video. Today we are going to talk why Icebox needs some changes. And I'm sure that that's a pretty popular opinion, but I'm just going to show you around from 10 star versus G2. G2 are on attack. This happened yesterday. And I'm just going to show you around, and it just like highlighted to me that I already knew what the outcome of this round was, even before, just as I saw them lining up and had a good idea of what I thought they were going to do. I pretty much knew what the outcome of this round is, and we're just gonna watch it and see what happens. So let's go into the round and see what happens. So you can see here it's like a full gun round for both teams, full shields on all rifles with an op as well on defense. So a very high buy round should be a fair fight, right? And if we go to the map here, we'll see that we've got all of G2 lined up towards mid. So let's take a look and see what happens for them. Okay. So the round is about to start, and they're still all towards mid. So you're probably getting a good idea. And we can see Hoodie here has this wall out early. The jet dashes up on top of Tube, and the wall goes across as well. And in we go. Right. So what they've just done, if we go to the map, as you can see, they put the wall up here. There is actually a defender right by the wall. They sent us over towards A, but everyone else is going towards mid to B. And we can already see here on the map that this Viper, obviously with the wall, they've seen the jet dash up the tube, and the Sage is right here, so that they can hear all the footsteps. They're pretty sure, hey, they're going B through mid, right? Would they have a good idea that that's going on, that is the case? So you can see that this Viper is kind of, just not even watching this anymore, just looking towards the mid lane, and you can see that the Sova as well seems like he's gonna come here, or maybe look through the gap here, maybe try and come back up to kitchen. We'll see. But this is a large reason why this map needs to change, because if we go back to the normal view and watch this round play out, what you're going to see soon is, as you can see, the Viper just hiding there. Viper gets one, the Sova gets one, Viper gets two, the spike goes down, they see that one is in kitchen. Okay, Avova gets a kill. Nuki actually got a kill on A, but Doma got that. It's 3v1, and they're going to get the kill again. So this was actually off the back, I think, of G2 winning the last 3 rounds in a row. And then they did this, and I was like, why on earth? Why on earth would you do this? Because I knew what was going to happen. It exactly happened as I thought it would. What's going to happen is they're going to go under mid, get through here, and they're going to die. They're going to get picked off one by one, because the angles that the defenders have here, when they don't have to worry about a B main and it's just a full mid rush, are so advantage to the defenders. And let's go into the map to see why. Okay, so here is the Icebox map, and as we just saw, they went for this attack through mid, and the Viper from here in this angle underneath the tube, and the Sova coming back here, basically won them the round and got a couple easy kills. They did have to win those duels, but still, I think it was favored for the defenders, always that case. So we had a wall here, right, through mid, and they sent pretty much 4 people. Now, what they did was they put the jet on top of the tube, quick dash with a smoke as well, and I think that was to check the kitchen angle, right? From being on top of tube, they could check that there was no one in this window, because if you don't do that, well, then you're in trouble, right? Because as soon as you come out here, again, this is not an easy fight to do. It's up, a different angle, different elevation. It's quite tight. The defender can play pretty much, play a bit further back and just play like a headshot angle if they really wanted to. And they will be pretty safe here and have an advantage fight. So that's what the jet was going on top, to make sure that no one was there first. But then, even then, the problem is, as soon as you push, and of course you then have to make this push here, at any time, anyone could have, it didn't happen, but anytime, of course, someone could come back to this window and pick you off from behind. And that's just another problem that we have in this area in general, is that could happen to you at any point. Now, we saw that the Viper was inside the middle of the tube, and the Sova was towards the gap here in the wall. And well, what happened, of course, is that they ran up here, they sent like 2 this way and 1 this way, and you might think, well, yeah, this is great, you can go to the different angles, and aside from getting picked off from behind, the other problem is, well, the defenders have more than you, right? You might have 2 ways to go, but the defenders have, this lane, they can be under tube, or they can, so they have 3 lanes to go to, you have 2 lanes to go to, essentially, but they also have a vertical lane as well, in terms of they could be on top or the bottom of the tower here. They could also be on the bridge, and, use the bridge as a kind of peek out point. They could be here, they could be anywhere on the bridge, they could be higher, they could be lower. It's a nightmare for attackers. Where do you look? Which one do you try and clear? Where are they? And the thing is, as soon as this Viper shot, You know, we saw the Jet come around here. As soon as this Viper had shot, even if they didn't get the kill and they just shot and lived, this Sova was always guaranteed this kill on the Jet, because the Jet is going to continue pushing here, and they have to focus on the Viper in the middle of this tube. And obviously that's just then easy pickings for the Sova, who can, you know, pretty much guarantee a free kill there. And that's basically what happened, and it was just such a shame. And this is a problem with Icebox, I think, in the big picture of Icebox. I think that this is a big problem, because you see teams do this every so often, and it very rarely goes well for them. Even if they do manage to, you know, win up the first couple fights and get a plant down in a weird location, I generally think planting in weird locations on this map, like say they planted here or here, for instance, it very rarely works. I think obviously when you're the attackers and you get the spike down, you kind of become the defenders. You're defending the spike at that point, right? And when you're the defenders, you have kind of an inherent advantage. Your opponents have to actually do something, and you can just sort of sit and wait, right? You know, when the spike is planted, you often will hear, you know, play for time, because you don't have to actually do anything. The onus is on them to actually do something to you. The problem is when you plant in some weird location like this that you don't normally see on Icebox, is that chaos ensues. No one really knows how to play it. What angles do you play? And when chaos ensues, that leads to weird things happening. And when you're playing at the disadvantage, you want the weird thing. Give me weird, give me chaos, you know, give me what people don't know what they're doing. Because when that happens, that gives you a better chance. You know, when the plant comes down here and every single person knows that pretty much everyone is going to be in this area, right? Everyone goes back to this area, but attackers know how to play it. They know that they can just, you know, jump peek off here and make sure that you're not on the spike. You know, they know how to play it, so it's going to have to be a good retake from the opponents. Whereas when the spike is planted something like here, the attackers probably won't exactly know where they all should be. They won't know what the best angles to hold are. They won't know where the defenders might come from all of a sudden. You know, how much care do I give to them coming through B main if the spike is planted over in this corner instead of this one, right? Like, normally we would care about that, but do I care about that all of a sudden? You know, it becomes a lot more chaotic. You know, you don't know exactly what you should be doing, and so that's going to give an advantage to the retakers anyway. So not only is pushing mid a pretty, you know, horrible task in general, this is a very small closed area, and even if you go this way, you know, you have many angles to deal with, again with verticality, again with more problems, and then even if you get through here, there's, you know, chances that defenders can still peek you from different angles as well. So going either way on mid on Icebox is just it's just not easy. It's just much harder than going towards the site, which makes it a unique map in terms of that. The Icebox is the only map where I would say just send 4 or 5 towards A or B, and I think that in general in ranked games, it's probably why most people feel like Icebox is a somewhat easier map to attack, because rushing 5A, 5B, yeah, that'll do. That'll work. You know, that's a good idea. And it just leads to boring pro games, though. Oh my god, every game is the exact same. And you get a lot of pro teams playing on Icebox, I think for that reason, because they all know what to expect. They all know it's a pretty basic map. You don't need super, you know, strats to work Icebox out. You pretty much just do what every other single team is doing on Icebox, and you'll probably be okay. It's basically just a game of, can you execute your thing slightly better than their thing, which is probably mostly the same thing. So that is why, in my opinion, Icebox does need some changes. If I was in charge, I'd probably say that, you know, it would be nice if this A site maybe was a little easier to defend. Maybe mid was a little easier to attack. Maybe make the B site, I don't know, a bigger plant site. I don't know, something like that. Because I just think that at the moment, the map is playing out pretty much the same way all the time. And even if it's a balanced map, even if it is somewhat, you know, balanced in terms of the win rate for attackers and defenders, I do think that it is a bit boring, a bit dull, and that the same things happen over and over and over again, and that isn't a great thing.